Ralph, what are you doing?
Julie's giving me work. Tony's work.
Oh, yeah. All right, Dan, let her rip. All of a sudden, go day. Feeling kind of weird. Not myself.
Yeah. In the mood to move quickly? In the mood to move quickly?
Hopefully. I don't know why I wouldn't. No, famous last words is I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our regular public council meeting for Monday, April 15, 2024, here in the town of Torbay. Up first, new business, Councillor Tepper.
I got thanks and congrats.
Okay. Councillor Pollard.
Yes.
Councillor Appleby.
Thank you. Congrats and Killicoast Games.
Killicoast Games. Councillor Goss.
Congratulations.
Deputy Mayor.
Congrats and thank you.
Okay, I just got a thanks. We got no people sitting in, did they? Did you want to get on the first Q&A, sir?
No.
Oh, you're good? All right. Okay. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda as amended, please?
So
Second.
Moved, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, carried. Thank you very much. Now, got a set of public council minutes for April 1st. Could I get a motion to adopt those, please? Moved,
Second.
seconded.
Second.
Any errors or omissions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed,
Aye.
carried. Thank you. Conflict of interest, this was sent around. Did the people get it in the email?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. It's just a amendment for rezoning. If that affects you when it comes up, mention it. All right, proclamations. Yes, sir?
There's another one there. There's a donation for $5,000 to the Folk Arts Council, and both myself and Councillor Pepper are members of the Folk Arts Council.
Okay, we still got a quorum without E? Yeah, all right. Thank you, sir. Make a note of that one. Council. All right, proclamations. We have a proclamation for Human Values Day. Councillor Appleby.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, Human Values Day, April 24th, 2024. Whereas raising and increasing awareness of positive human values is a goal of the town of Torbay, we encourage citizens to cooperate and resolve to make our community richer by embracing the universal human values of truth, right conduct, peace, love, and nonviolence. Whereas this proclamation dedicates a day each year to increasing awareness of Canada's commitment to human values by encouraging citizens to foster a climate that promotes supports, and celebrates excellence in character in our schools, businesses, homes, and community-based organizations in order to strengthen the family and communities in Canada and around the world. Rekindling human values around the world by Canadian initiative is a step forward to achieving universal peace and security on the planet and harmonious coexistence amongst different people and cultures. Whereas Human Values Day is a means to give members of the community a clear understanding of the importance of a values-based life, to raise awareness of the importance of practicing positive values, and to eradicate violence, bullying, drugs, crime, disrespect, and greed in our society. Whereas the Walk for Values is a walk designed to raise awareness of human values and promote individual and collective responsibility for the progress of humanity, one step at a time. And
Now therefore, on behalf of Torbay Town Council, I, Mayor Craig Scott, do hereby proclaim April 24, 2024 as Human Values Day in the town of Torbay. So moved.
second.
Moved and seconded. Comments?
I will, why not?
Sure.
I'm really glad to see another proclamation like this coming from our council. It's a consistent, ongoing message that we're an inclusive community, that people matter, and these sorts of things are very important. And Mayor, your work the last couple of meetings and conversations around rights and, you know, making sure that we're good to each other and stuff, I mean, all that's in here. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to read the proclamation tonight. I'm really glad to be a part of a council who supports this sort of thing in our community. I think it's really important that we lead in this space and make sure that people see us that way. So thank you for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Any other comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Number 2. Okay, we got another proclamation for National Tourism Week. Deputy Mayor.
Proclamation recognizing April 15 to the 19, 2024 as National Tourism Week. Whereas National Tourism Week is recognized annually to celebrate opportunities in Canada through travel and tourism by highlighting and aligning tourism organizations, businesses, and other partners from across the country around a common vision. And whereas the town of Torbay acknowledges the Tourism Industry Association of Canada as the national organization representing the full cross-section of Canada's tourism industry, and that the theme for 2024 is Canada, powered by tourism. And whereas the town of Torbay recognizes that tourism builds attractive, livable communities that foster our culture, heritage, and environment, and is an important source of economic activity. And whereas the town of Torbay tourism sector has great potential in building capacity, preserving and promoting the living culture and rich heritage through tourism. And whereas throughout National Tourism Week, the town will launch a week-long online campaign and encourages residents to participate.
Now therefore, on behalf of the Council of the Town of Torbay and on behalf of the citizens of Torbay, I hereby proclaim April 15th to the 19th, 2024 as National Tourism Week. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments?
I just mentioned to our director, tourism, what we had on the go for next week, and I've got here a photo contest from April 15 to the 29, and prize gift cards at local restaurants. Is there anything else, Carrie, we can?
Just the social media campaign,
Yeah,
just the social.
it's not on.
Social media campaign with regular posts on our social media around tourism and encouraging people to get out and, you know, move around and enjoy tourism assets in the community.
And I know from our past meeting, for this time next year, we'll have different events and different things that we're working on, Terry is bringing to the committee, that hopefully within the next year, we'll have lots of new initiatives to be able to go back with to the residents with. You got anything that?
Yeah, just to add, I think, you know, again, Torbay has a lot to offer, you know, promoting ourselves and promoting the whole Killick Folk Coast. There's a mouthful. But anyway, yeah, it's always been, you know, a key issue with me, especially with culture and history. And we've got a history house up there now that is, you know, it's welcoming a lot of people through. They're learning about Torbay, they're learning about our history, and again, there's some bright things on the horizon for this year and next year as far as events, promotion. So it's a key, I think, aspect of Torbay as a town, getting that job done, promoting ourselves.
Excellent. Any other comment? I just think that tourism, not just in our town, but across the province, is something that, more and more municipalities are jumping in on the tourism in that space. Because for years and years and years, it was just the province, right, that did kind of tourism promotion. And now everybody has to do it because for what we have, it's a big draw. People want to come see. We're going to have icebergs soon probably. And we still got snow on the ground. And it's April. If you want to come get some April snow, this is the place to get it. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Torbay Proclamation for organ donation. Is that the right one? Yes. Deputy Mayor.
Proclamation for National Organ and Tissue Donor Awareness Week. Whereas the Canadian Transplant Association was created in 1987 to raise awareness about organ donation and celebrate the success of transplants in saving lives. Members of the CTA consist of transplant recipients, athletes, and volunteers dedicated to promoting organ and tissue transplants and providing support networks to donors and recipients. Whereas National Organ and Tissue Donation Awareness Week raises awareness about the critical need for more donors across the country and encourages Canadians to register their decision and to talk to their loved ones about organ donation. Whereas there are 4,300 Canadians awaiting a life-saving organ transplant, and whereas each year hundreds of Canadians die waiting, and whereas 75 people could receive tissue from one donor, and whereas one organ and tissue donor can save up to 8 lives and enhance as many as 75.
Now therefore, on behalf of the community of Torbay, I do hereby proclaim April 21st to the 27th, 2024 to be Organ and Tissue Donor Awareness Week. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments?
I'd just like to add in here, this is something near and dear to my heart. As some of you know, when my brother had a massive stroke, and the doctors well, the priest actually came, Father Butler, and asked me about it, and I said, what are you asking me? And it was such a delicate, sensitive topic then to bring up to the rest of the family. And I guess at the end of it all, when my sister-in-law got a letter back from somebody that had received a couple of his organs, and say because of him what the results were. So this is always, really good for me to think back in some ways and how. So encourage anybody that hasn't already identified it on their license or whatever other way that they want to. I think it's something that you really need to talk to your family and put it on your organ card.
Yep. Thank you. And to me, that's one of the most important points in this proclamation, is that you have to make sure that you let your family know your intentions, because after you're gone, it's too late to let them know, and they can make a decision that is not exactly what you had in mind. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much. One left. Earth Day proclamation. Councilor Tepper.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Proclamation recognizing April 22nd, 2024 as Earth Day. Whereas Earth Day is celebrated annually to celebrate the beauty of our planet, recommit to actions to promote a healthy environment, and to maintain a peaceful, just, and sustainable world. And whereas Earth Day was first celebrated in 1970 in the United States, has since grown to be a worldwide day of environmental action, And whereas urban areas are set to become home to 2/3 of the world population by 2050, and as climate change is being observed and experienced, municipalities find themselves at the front line of the battle against climate change. And whereas Ducks Unlimited Canada, in partnership with the town of Torbay, has accessed 40 of Torbay's wetlands for their functions, including the importance of wetlands in the mitigation of greenhouse gas emissions and climate change adaptation. And whereas the Stewardship Association of Municipalities, in partnership with the town of Torbay, has applied for funding to be able to plant over 3,000 new plants in the town. Whereas the town of Torbay has applied for a green team for the 2024 season to be able to continue researching and educating Torbay's history and importance of natural stewardship, protecting our wetlands, rivers, and shorelines, and to be able to continue growing our existing community gardens under Growing Through the Ages program. Whereas the town of Torbay has partnered with Earth Day Canada, multiple municipalities across the country, and a number of organizations and citizens locally to meet the goals of Earth Day. This includes, but is not limited to, partners of climate protection, the National Garden Council, the Stewardship Association of Municipalities, and Eastern Habitat Joint Ventures, the Conservation Corps of Newfoundland and Labrador, Munn Botanical Garden, the Torbay Environmental Advisory Committee, the East Coast Trail Association, and Ducks Unlimited.
Now therefore, on behalf of the Council of the Town of Torbay and on behalf of the citizens of Torbay, I hereby proclaim Friday, April 22nd, 2024 as Earth Day. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments?
Just like to say, I think for as long as I've been on council anyway, I think Torbay has taken a lead, especially in our own community. We going back for years, we had a Torbay Environment Trails Committee. It was quite active, and I think that was the start of making us aware of what we have here as far as wetlands and stewardship and that sort of thing. And we're still active with those groups, some of those groups that we listed. So I think as we go forward, we do have an Environment Advisory Committee, but we're doing some work along with our planning update. So again, it's things are changing around the world, and we got to keep up with what we can do to alleviate a lot of the harm that's going to happen. Yeah.
Thank you. Go ahead.
I fully agree, and I support this proclamation. It's funny, we're just talking about tourism, and we think about tourism. We think about icebergs. We think about whales. We think about pack ice. We think about people here on our gorgeous, gorgeous coastline being able to go out and hike and see what it's all about. We just talked about, April snow. These are things that we're seeing, and it's costing residents and people in our communities a lot of money. It's $10 million for us to deal with the stormwater management issues that we have in this community right now. Wetlands. We have gorgeous, amazing, healthy wetlands in this community. And I've been in communities. I was in Strathcona, Alberta a couple of years back for the FCM meetings, and they have engineered wetlands. Although they're beautiful and they're great in their community, they had to build them. Imagine what it costs to build a wetland and put it in your community. We're so lucky. We have natural wetlands here that protect us from flooding and that we can work with and use. And we actually have an internationally protected one here in our community. So I think this is an amazing proclamation. I think it's really important. I agree to Councillor Tapper's point. We've got the solar panels on the top of this building here to try to help with the energy consumption. Mayor, I remember you leading very strongly with Deputy Mayor Sheila O'Leary back in the days of the plastics issue and making sure that we were right front and center on that conversation. And look at what happened in such a short period of time around the banning of plastics and what we can do. So although it might seem like it's just a proclamation, it's just a community, I'm just an individual, the impact that we've had in the 5-6 years that I've been here, it's been tremendous. So again, hats off to the town for supporting this over the years and continuing to be a part of that solution, because we're saving money, we're providing opportunity for economic development, and we're actually packing a punch and making an impact, small town that we are, in the global scene. So thank you, Mayor, appreciate it.
You're welcome. Any other comment? peanut gallery over there on the laptop? No? I will just say this, and it's to your point and Councillor Tapper's. We have 6 management units now in our town, habitat management units. We had 1, I think, back in 2013 when I got on council. Now we got 6. And our work around trails and environment, and people have been able to get out. And I think that the pandemic showed us at that time the value of outdoor spaces. People really took to that. And I think that our direction that we've been going in terms of trails and outdoor leisure activities is the right way to go. And to your point, some of these trails that we have around the ponds and down at the beach, it's really interesting when you go in there and look, and you might see new birds that you've never seen, some new microorganisms in the water that you never heard of before, that could be around. You never know what's going to surface. So with that, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much. All right. Mayor's, we got no presentations. We got no Q&A came in. Mayor's report, I'm just going to be brief. I did attend the firefighters memorial service last week. It was very well attended. It makes you think about all the volunteers that started with the fire department from 1974 onwards. And, they had 22 helmets placed for firefighters that have since passed. Luckily and thankfully, none of them passed in line of duty with the fire department. And hopefully it stays like that for a long time, forever. But, they put off a great service. It was well attended, and I thank them for that. And then on Saturday night, attended the firefighters ball. I think most of the council were there. And it was another very well attended event and a very well run one. I want to thank the fire department for a great job that they did on that. And our staff, obviously, that worked there, and everybody that was involved in that, in organizing. It was an awesome event. I want to say thank you to the fire department also. They renamed the Firefighter of the Year award from the Manning Award, which was well deserved. They're going to keep that plaque in the fire department, but they renamed it to the Mike McGrath Firefighter of the Year Award. And Mike spent 47 years with the fire department. He was an original member, retired in December 31st, 2021, after serving 18 years as chief. So you couldn't have picked a better person to name that after. It's wonderful that Bill Mannings was there for so long, and certainly there's no slight to anybody that they took that upon themselves as the fire department to recognize someone that's one of their own to be deserving of that award. I think that was great. And I think that's all I got to say for my mayor's report section. I'm sure everybody will have other comments to make later on about any of that. Where am I to? Business arising. We get that report cleaned up yet or what? Getting there? Okay. All right. Anybody have anything on that they want to talk about?
Standing item, your worship, please. Can we get an update on any responses on the letter they sent to the MP around the water?
I don't believe that we have received anything yet, have we, Sandy?
No, nothing yet. So the next step now is to follow up with Transport Canada.
Okay.
So that hasn't been done. We haven't received it, and I haven't received anything on the meeting that we're hoping to arrange as well.
Yeah, so we got
So we'll follow
we
up
got
on
a
that.
couple things there that we're working on. So one of them is the water supply piece. That's what you were asking about, Tony, right? Great Pond?
Yes, your worship. Yeah.
Okay, and the other piece is the contamination at the airport. We gotta deal with that too.
Just gotta keep the pressure on, that's my point. Like it's 2 weeks past, it's in in a blink of an eye.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, Sandy?
Yep, oh yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? All right, correspondence. We have correspondence here from the Department of Municipal and Provincial Affairs, Capital Investment Plan approval for wastewater, culvert replacement, Wolf Ponds Lane, Morris Valley Road, $173,000. These are just there for information purposes, right? And clean environment, number of meters, storm sewer installed, 60, that's there for information purposes. So that can go on to Public Works or Finance, wherever it lands. All right, committees of council. We got no committee to whole report. Planning, land use development. You doing this, Tony, or Councilor Tapper?
As long as everybody can hear me all right.
Yeah, we can hear you fine. Carry on.
Okay, thank you, Your Worship. Only two items. The first is a mapping amendment for 1669 Torbay Road, rezoning from residential subdivision RSA to RI, a residential infill land use zone. It's for a proposed multi-unit complex off Torbay Road at 1669 Torbay Road and 15B Tanton View. As we say, this is a mapping amendment at the present time, and it did go to the public consultation process. And the main points referenced by respondents, if you look at the last paragraph, considerations for green space, walkability sidewalks, speeding on Torbay Road, servicing plans and effect on water table, and providing possible access linkages with surrounding properties. With the exception of speeding on Torbay Road, many of the points raised will be considered at the development application stage, and any development on this property will require a groundwater assessment and likely a traffic study by the province. So based on that, there's still a bit of work to be done. This, as we say, is just a mapping change at the present time. So the motion to adopt Torbay Development Regulations Amendment number 14, 2024, 1669 Torbay Road Amendment, rezoning the properties at 1669 Torbay Road and 15B Tanton View Lane from RSA to RI land use zone. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you.
And the next one is a motion to accept the 2024 permit listings for weeks ending April 11, 2024 as tabled. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
And Your Worship, for reference purposes, there's an attachment at the end or in the background reports related to property standards and maintenance regulations. I ask that all council review those in light of recent discussions around what our processes are, and we will revisit it again at our next planning development meeting. So if anybody has any questions after they read those, just feel free to drop us a line, and then we'll come back again with whatever the requests that we had to answer. Thanks.
Okay.
So that's my report, Your Worship.
All right. Thank you. Moving right along.
I got a
Good.
question there
Go
at the
ahead.
last
I got it.
meeting about the dilapidated residents. And I know that I noticed in the minutes where there's a number of them identified, I guess, as the property or their property tax. I would like for that to come to a committee of the whole to know what properties are. I don't want to be taken off guard if some information has gone out to property owners. I think that it's something that council should be aware of, what properties have been identified and who letters have gone out to. And I guess probably in looking at this policy that we have here, I think that it should be an item on the committee of the whole agenda.
Okay. Yeah, we
So
can
now,
talk.
do I need a motion for that, or can I just
No, we could
ask,
just-
and that would be included on the committee of the whole?
We can just
Okay.
ask and we'll add it
Yeah,
on.
all right, I just wanted to make sure,
Okay.
because there was several on there on the day I noticed on the minutes.
All right.
I got a couple of things.
Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor. First of all, I just wanted to report on one thing that we followed up on at the last council meeting. We had a gentleman here on an issue at Gallows Cove, off Gallows Cove Road. So the very next morning, actually, myself And after we received a phone call, myself and Deputy Mayor and Committee Chair Tony went down and paid a visit. We met with the developer who owns the property, had a good chat with him. He was due to go on vacation the next day, so we haven't heard from him since, but I'm sure we will. But in the same afternoon, we went down and we spoke to Mr. Ryan. We also spoke with a couple of other residents. The main issue is there's a river flowing through there. It's not a big river by any means, but it was redirected, and that was the problem that came upon Mr. Ryan's property, some flooding issues and runoff issues. So we talked to Director Julia after, and she's going to do some follow-up. She got us some mapping and that sort of thing to see where that river actually flows from and through. So, and she's going to do some follow-up with water resources and whatever other government departments that need be. So, you know, I think we acted fairly quickly, and I think Mr. Ryan appreciated it. But hopefully now when we got something to report back, we'll touch base with him again.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect, thank you.
The other thing I wanted to mention was that this is planning week number 2. We're reviewing our municipal plan. We started off this afternoon with a luncheon with some of the councillors here, and our consultants did a presentation for us. Just want to remind all residents that during the week on April the 16th, all of these, there's 3 evenings at St. Nicholas Church Hall, Parish Hall. On the 16th, we're looking at the Town Centre Development Scheme. The 17th is the South Pond Development Scheme. And then on the 18th is the Whitty's Ridge Scheme at 4 o'clock. And then we're having an open house at the Parish Hall at 7 o'clock that evening. So, you know, we had a really good turnout for week 1, as you recall. Mm-hmm. And we're hoping for the same turnout from local residents and anybody in, you know, who needs some information on those schemes, but the whole overall town plan review.
Right, okay, thank you. You know, I have to say I'm really impressed with the approach that we've taken this time to the update of the town plan. Because the last time we did a great job with the plan, because we only renewed it from, I guess in 2015, we did it as 2015 to 2025 plan. And at that time, I think it was a little easier for council because we had so many of these big projects that we had to do that were right on at our fingertips that we needed to get done, was the community center, things like that, and the town center piece. And, but I really like the fact that we're so engaged with the residents this time, and developers and whoever else that wants to be involved in this plan, because like we always say, right, like this plan is your plan, and the same motto we do for a history house, this is your house. So it's great that people are having input into it, so that there's no big surprises that comes down the line after the fact. And as I always tell people, just because we're here as council, it doesn't mean that we know everything and we have all the best ideas. We only know what we know. So it's as Deputy Mayor is fond of saying all the time, you don't know what you don't know, right? So it's great. And I mentioned to Julia about the presentation that you had today for members of council, that going forward at some point, we'd like to be able to package that up, and probably on a Monday night when we're having our committee of the whole meeting, we'll zoom in consultants in and go over it with all the council. Some of us can't make it in daytime like that because we got to work. But anyway, thank you for that. Thank you, Julia. Thanks, everybody. Go ahead.
Thanks, Mayor. I couldn't agree more. I got a whole half hour here today. I got in over my lunch break and got a half hour, but it is a really important discussion. It's really nice. Thanks for bringing that up, Councillor Tapper, because people, you know, having them out engaged and being part of the conversation of what that plan is going to look like, I think is really important. I just wanted to touch on the radon testing here in the package. Director, do we have the contact information for the people who did take the radon kits? Because I'm thinking it's 3 months. Are we able to send them an email as a reminder, or are we sending an email as a reminder to return the kits by May 6th to 10th?
Yeah, so we do have the contact information. The CARS, the organization that's kind of started it all and that we're partnering with, they're going to do that reminder email.
Okay.
So they're going to do all that, and we can, at that point in time, also do like some social media outreach, but that's in hand.
Yeah, that was my second thing I was going to ask for. You know, like even if we could just do a reminder on social media about their due back when, and you know, for anyone else, it says here there are still some free kits available. So you know, maybe just sharing that out as well through social media, because people may not, they follow different things in different spaces. So somebody may be seeing that on Facebook or Twitter that might not catch it through the council meeting or the package, right? So if we could consider that, but that's an important conversation I think that we need to be having in the community. And a lot of people I talked to about radon, they're still going, what is it? I don't even know if it's 50. So it's an important conversation. It's a carcinogen, right? Thanks,
All right.
Mayor.
Thank you. That must be a good job you got. You get lunch break and everything.
I tell you, I had a whole half hour. Yeah.
All right, thank
I
you
just
very
got
much.
one question here with regards to the municipal enforcement. Said that the joint RFP has been received and returned, and edits are anticipated. Is that back now to HR, or where is that to, Julia? Because
Yeah, you go ahead, Julia. Yeah.
Yeah, a joint meeting has been scheduled with the town of Portugal Cove St. Phillips at the end of this month to go over like the final edits instead of bouncing emails back and forth. So once that has happened and there's general agreement on whatever seems to be outstanding for Portugal Cove St. Phillips, then that'll be posted. The town of Portugal Cove St. Philip are going to take the lead on the posting. So that's where it's at right now.
because we were hoping that that would at least be out and awarded to somebody before the 24th of May weekend, because that's when, I guess, the first start of the parties and what have you that would start up. So, because we keep asking about it at the HR committee as well. So I guess I'm a little bit disappointed that it's not happening until the end of the month to try to get it. It's almost 6 months into the new year with that amount of money. Any way that we can move that along?
Well, again, you know, we're meeting with Portugal Cove St. Phillips to finalize, so there's not much more else I can.
No, I'm just
Is that-
wondering if it's possible to get the meeting earlier than at the end of the month.
Well, we actually attempted to have the meeting earlier, but Portugal Cove St. Phillips was unable to attend, so they pushed it out.
Not good enough,
Well, I think it's important that we get this right,
yeah.
as opposed
Very
to
much
get it
And
bad.
get it awarded rather than like we were last time, right? I mean, that's the thing, that was the initial goal when we put that in there in our budget this year, and that it would be moved along quickly.
I asked if this is a one-year contract, one-year deal between the two towns. You know, maybe we could reach out and have it, you know, budget time at least. We got to do what we can do now. But when it comes budget, maybe do it for 3 years. Because we go through this every year. You
Well,
know,
we haven't been.
Well, I mean, to your point, right, it's important that we get this done right, because
yes.
for 1 year we had none.
yeah.
Last year we kind of did a mishmash of whatever.
Yeah.
So if we're going to get into a partnership with another town, we need to make sure we get all of our ducks in a row and they're
Sure.
in on it too, so we don't end up without a solution. So I think it's important to do it correctly, get what it is that we want, so that we're not asking questions after, well, I thought we were getting this, when we got this municipal enforcement, I thought we were getting that. So we'll all know exactly what it is that we're getting.
Yes, and I agree fully with it, but it's just the timing of it. It just, you know, it seems to be always something with regards to the delay in getting it moving forward.
That, you know, this is an important piece of work, and there's a considerable amount of work gone into it on both on the towns. And I fully support the mayor's comment that we need to get this right. So, and you know, I applaud staff for putting the effort into it. And as I said, we will be meeting now to finalize.
All right.
Because after it goes to the staff back, then it needs to come back to what we had talked about for council as well, just to know what we're getting.
Right.
Anyway, I'll be quiet now.
Okay. Thank you. Don't be too quiet. You're up next. Admin and HR. Get married.
Okay. There's no motions in there, so with most of it is for information purposes. I don't think that there's anything really new, because when I looked at it, the positions that we had filled had been discussed at the last meeting. So it's just some new in there, so I'm not going to get in as what we had talked about before. I know that in here that the Recreation Program Coordinator position closed on Friday. I remember seeing that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess we'll get an update at our next HR meeting on the status of that. But other than that, I don't see anything new. And CAO and the Director of HR are working on the policies and procedures. And I understand that at our next committee of the whole next Monday night, we'll be looking at the rules of procedure policy. And if anybody has got any feedback or anything on that, I would be appreciated if you could even get back to the director before the next meeting. Because a number of those now that some of the staffing has been finalized, so be back on the radar to try to get as much of this as we can get completed before June, before things slow down for the summer.
The remote meeting policy will be on that agenda as well.
Okay.
So if
Anybody have
anybody
any-
got any questions or anything on that? I noticed in there, and I know I had an inquiry from one of the councillors, the compensation model for non-unionized staff. That's another one that, you know, we're hoping to have something prepared on that by the end of the month. So to get that back for discussion with a committee of the whole meeting as well.
Okay. Anybody have any questions on any of those items in here?
And I'm just looking in here, and what I had just said about the RFP for the municipal enforcement, it's in here that a further update regarding the next steps will be provided to council once available. So that's, and the strategic plan, that's another important one for a meeting. So it seems like we're going to have quite a bit to follow up at our next committee of the whole meeting.
All right.
Yeah, just on the strategic plan, if I can just make a comment. So we met on the plan last week, one afternoon, senior management, and we're working our way through that document. It's a fairly large document again, so we have another meeting scheduled for next week to clue it up, and then we'll circle back to all the council with an update on the updated plan and the initiatives.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
What is the status of the emergency preparedness plan? Where is that to right now?
Yeah, that's, I've been through that back a while ago, and our Director of Public Works has been through it. It's with our Director of Recreation now. I met with the Fire Chief and the new Fire Prevention Officer this morning. So they want to get their hands on that now as well quickly. So I'm having that report now channeled back to me very shortly, and then moving it quickly over to the Fire Chief and the new position. They're going to start working on that.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
But a number
Thank you.
quite a bit of work's been
Paul,
done.
did you have something you were going to say?
I was just going to talk about the compensation model that's been on the go for a very long time now, and make sure that April 30th deadline, we get something before that, so we can at least review and have initial discussions on it, because I expect there'll be a few reiterations from committee of the whole, so.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Corporate services. Where am I to? Hang on now. Yep. Counselor Goss.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The corporate services report for April 11th. Payroll, regular payroll for 58 employees for the 2-week period ending April 10th, 2024 totaled $134,254.62. Accounts payable for the 2-week period ending April 10th, 2024, 98 invoices in the amount of $464,283.56 were processed. Following invoices are for council approval. 15 operating invoices totaling $507,465.37 are presented for approval. So moved.
I have a question. So we're gonna have to, separate out the one for the food bank, because I'm on the board, and the one for, the
Folk Arts.
Folk Arts Council.
Torbay Folk Arts.
Yeah, so let's do the motion first for the Folk Arts Council. And Councillor Tapper and Councillor Pollard are in a conflict, so we'll vote on that one by itself. Okay? Do we need to put forward a separate motion? Or we can just say, we'll vote on that one by itself, okay? So all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. And then we'll vote on, I'll turn over the chair to Deputy Mayor to do the vote for the food bank.
Okay, so for the food bank, so, all in favor? No.
Can I
Oh, I
ask a
know.
question? I didn't vote just now
You need
for
to
the food
vote.
bank,
You-
because I was kind of confused about what we're doing.
Yeah,
Shouldn't we have a motion so we're clear what the language is to?
What's happened is two of these have conflicts.
Right.
One of them, the mayor, is declaring a conflict, and the other one, two councillors are declaring a conflict.
Understanding
So
that.
just separating those out from the others.
Right, but there hasn't been a motion of a mover or seconder to take the decision to do that.
For the conflict.
So for the record,
Right.
I didn't vote in the last one, simply because I'm looking at it going, I'm not sure how this is working. So from a procedure perspective, I fully agree, Mayor, that we should be breaking these out
Sure.
from, where we're headed. But I think that if we're going to do that, I think we need to go back and put the motion on the floor that we support the 5,000 for the food bank, have it seconded as we normally would do, and then call the question.
Yeah.
Because I just sat here going, I'm not sure
Yeah, that's
when and
fine.
where I should vote. So if we could do that for proper
Sure.
procedure and
Sure.
record?
Yeah, we can do that.
Appreciate that. Thank
Okay,
you.
so let's go back to the one for the Folk Arts Council first. So, Councillor Goss, just make a motion to approve the one for the Folk Arts Council.
I motion with the Torbay Folk Arts $5,000 donation. So moved.
Okay,
Second.
moved and seconded, all in favor?
aye.
Opposed, carried. And back to Deputy Mayor to do the other.
Okay, so now, I guess, Councillor Pollard, you have another motion there for the food bank?
I move that the Northeast Avalon Food Bank receive a donation for 2024 in the amount of $5,000. So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
All right, so, Ann can note that those two were moved out, and then we can just vote on the rest. As the original motion.
Yeah, and the minutes will reflect the conflict of interest.
Yeah. Okay, so the original motion is still on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I don't have a seconder for this one, only that Councillor Goss moved it.
Right, so Council Pollard,
Second.
second.
Yes.
Okay, Tony?
Your Worship, why don't we just change the 15 to 13 and the total to 497, seeing as it's
Yeah, okay,
easy math.
Mm.
497, 465, 37.
okay. All right, so Councillor Goss, you can make a motion to that effect.
What was that total again? I'm sorry.
497, 465, 37.
497.
No, it's not. Four, is that right? Yes, 497, yeah. 497, 465, 37.
Okay.
You got all that
Invoice for
in?
council approval approve the following 13 operating invoices totaling $497,465.35 are presented for approval. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I apologize that I didn't notice that food bank one in there, because if I had noticed, I would have sent you an email beforehand and asked you to remove it out on its own. And we'll remember that going forward, I guess. That way we can deal with it easier.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's fine. All good. What else you got?
I got a couple of motions there. Motion 1, 2023 Canada Community Building Fund Annual Expenditure Report. The town received the audited 2023 Canada Community Building Fund Annual Expenditure Report from the auditor, Richard Power, Chartered Accountant Professionals. The committee recommends approval of the audited 2023 CCBF ADR and requests the signature of the mayor on the ADR to indicate council's approval. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Carried.
And our second motion is the BDO invoice. Committee members reviewed the outstanding invoice received in relation to the 2022 gas tax audit. BDO were engaged to perform the 2022 CCBF audit, and this report was issued and released on February 1st, 2024. The committee recommends approval of this BDO invoice in the amount of $4,253.85. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments? All in
If
favor?
everyone remembers, this was a part of the conversation we had around BDO and their, for whatever reason, inability to do the 2023 audit. There was some work they had done towards the 2023 audit, and they sent us invoices for both this one and the additional work. And we reviewed that committee, and this is, in our mind, legitimate work as it's work that's related directly to the Canada Community Building Fund AER report. So we don't see any reason to hold that back. The other invoice was gone back for further review.
All right, thank you. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And the rest of the minutes here are there for anybody's review or questions. If they say so, may, unless Councillor Pollard has something to.
You got a motion in your committee, your minutes report for April 11th. One for Northeast Eagles under 15.
Oh, yes, we.
Hang on, yeah, okay. Was not included. Okay, never mind.
No, yeah, I was gonna say, I don't have that there.
I got you. So there's no more motions. Thank you very much. Guess we'll get that one another time. Does anybody have any questions on the finance report?
I do.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to request, if I could again, that we look at how we're delivering the finance report. We just approved $497,000 worth of invoices. And we just did the Human Values Day proclamation. We have an accessibility plan that we've put together. And for anybody who is, experiencing any sort of challenge when it comes to being able to participate here, they're getting the understanding that there was $497,000 worth of invoices approved, but they're unable, some may be unable, to access the information without having it read out in public chambers. So I would ask that whoever the appropriate people are to review that from an accessibility, fair, equal opportunity for residents to understand the business of council, that we go back and we review that. The ability of any member of council to question about the information that's in the package during the procedure of, moving, seconding, and discussion doesn't change. But the accessibility and ability of all residents to be included in understanding where that money is spent, I'm very concerned that it may potentially be impacted. So I'll ask that that be considered. The other question that I wanted to ask, we just paid out, another chunk of change to Trio. So just curious about an update. I know that we've had a conversation about moving forward, looking at other options for the town of Torbay. I'm just curious to see, is that moving? If that's moving, what are we doing around that? If I can get an update on that, please.
Sandy?
Do you mind? Yeah, we've been in contact with other providers.
Yeah.
And they've requested very detailed, significant information. That information was just provided today. And we've passed that on to the other providers, so we're waiting to hear back from them to see what they have to offer.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So quite a bit of work has gone into that with the Corporate Services Division.
Yeah, sounds awesome. Thank you. I appreciate the update on that. Last question. I promise I'll have no more after this one for this report. We've been able to work with Pilot to receive money through the work that we've done with the Torbay Common. Is it possible maybe to have a part of this report or package include that information? We've got people making donations through the Pilot campaign to the town. Pilot themselves have secured funds that we've been made aware of. I think it'd be great for us to share for those people who are making those donations in our council package, as part of the fact that they've, recognized, support the town and what we're doing, to have that information in there. I think that it's a good news story for us. It's a good news story for Pilot. And also, if you're putting money forward to donate to the community and the lives and the fabric of, what makes us us, which, the Torbay Common, it really is used for all age groups. It might be nice to look at including that in here if we could. So I don't know if we can or can't, but I just want to put it out there as an idea to consider, and maybe for a committee to take back and see what we can do with something like that.
Yeah, I would have assumed that they would have been put forward back when the donations were made originally, because these are donations that were made in the past.
Right.
So I'm not sure what was done back then. I mean,
Okay.
that was a number of years ago, but I can certainly review
Yeah,
that.
maybe if a committee can have a look at it and have a conversation and see, but I think it's important. I mean, if the money was committed and it's been provided, I think somehow it would be nice to have that included in the package. I know people have asked and continue to ask about the campaign, and there's been some success with that, so I think it might be nice to have an update, if appropriate, if possible, around the good news there, if we could.
I think that that's something that's really worth touching on, and I don't recall they came in, the ones that have come in, but I don't think that there was an actual thank you sent out from the town. And that to me is so important, and the new ones that have come in, I think that there should be something here done to acknowledge everybody that has contributed, because there really that part of it had been missing. And to do the thank you, because where some of them have paid up to date.
Right.
And I think that that's really something that needs to be emphasized, that we do something so for somebody on their to-do list to make sure that that happens.
Okay. Let's check first to see if
Yeah.
it,
We had talked about
pretty
it.
sure it was done at the time when the donations were made. by
Yeah, I
Pilot.
think we had talked about it, but then it kind of got lost in the weeds, and the follow-up to actually thank the
Okay.
various companies was not done, so I'm glad that that's brought to the forefront in that again, and especially on those new ones.
All right. Okay, thank you. One thing I will mention, and that's in terms of our council package when it's up on site. Once, after the video is posted, a couple days after, and closed captions goes on it. So the council meetings, everything that's said is all closed captioned as part of that. So that one piece of the accessibility is certainly being looked after. All right, moving on, where am I to? Economic Development, Tourism. Councilor Tapper.
Okay, our committee met on the 25th of March. We had a couple of special guests, Tara Lehman, and she's from the Chamber of Commerce from Portugal Coast St. Philip's, and Derek Diamond. Although he's an employee of our town, he was also there as a member of the Chamber of Commerce. So we had quite a conversation with Tara, because the idea is out there of expanding the Portugal Cove St. Philip's Chamber to include the Killy Coast. and they're working on that and finding out the technicalities, of doing that. But we had a meeting that I attended probably about a month ago now at the Common, and it was quite interesting. Quite a few people turned out for that meeting, and it was, I think, completely positive that people wanted us to go in this direction and bring in other communities all around the Killy Coast to be part of that Chamber of Commerce. So again, it's in the early stages, but I think Tara, we may get her in to address council as well, into a committee of whole or whatever, and see exactly what path this is going to go down, and I think it's a great initiative that we should be part of. So there's some updates there on some celebrations and events. The town history house will receive funding from the province to support an event. Planning is underway to hold an event the weekend before Canada Day. That's in regard to Celebrate 75, and that'll be forthcoming. We mentioned National Tourism Week is the 15th to 19th of April, and the tourism map is being developed and updated. Municipal Awareness Week is May the 8th to the 12th. Planning is underway to celebrate that event as well. The Torbay Business Award is coming up on May the 9th, so hopefully everybody can get out to that. So there's going to be, obviously, the nominations were taken place, and we're hoping to make those announcements after the judging is completed this week. So another couple of things more recently, just want to mention, and maybe a thank you as well. The Torbay Folk Arts Council had their annual general meeting this past Sunday that I attended. They had their largest turnout yet as far as members go, and again they're planning a lot of events. And we did talk about, there's a new choral group, a big choral group with 57 members that was formed within this last couple of years. Myself and Councillor Pollard are lead singers in that, right, Tony? So, but it's
that's the word, yeah.
But it's a fantastic group, and last Saturday night we had another concert. It was a fundraiser for the food bank. We had a full house at the St. Nicholas Anglican Church, well attended, and we made $4,200+ as money is still coming in. So again, that's just an initiative from one group, and we're hoping to have more concerts at the RC Church and St. Nicholas in the future. So I just wanted to again congratulate that group because they may put us on the map next year because we're planning a trip to Ireland to perform. So and it most likely will be either under the Torbay or the Killy Coast banner. So it's again a great promotion for the town.
Yep, excellent. Thought I saw a social media post the other day from the Portrait Coast St. Philip's Chamber of Commerce saying they were rebranding as the Killy Coast Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
So that's moving forward. It's all good.
I got something to add in there, and I'm going to ask Carrie about it, but we met again last Thursday morning. Carrie, I didn't write it down. I thought that I had seen it today, though, somewhere in an email regarding the time in Torbay, and there's a date already set for that. Do you recall in your minutes what? August?
So August 10th is the date for the dance.
Yeah.
But there's also discussions around, that's an ongoing all summer. So couple of the major events are booked, but they're still booking musicians for weekend and weekday events and that sort of thing.
Well, one of the big ones, that's why I wanted, so it's the 10th, okay?
Thanks for doing that on my birthday, Carrie.
Yeah, that was supposed to be a surprise, Your Mayorness.
I just noticed, because, well, anyway, yeah, I just noticed it's the same weekend of the Blueberry Festival in Brickers. So anyway, with that being said, we wanted to get that information out there as soon as possible. So it's August 10th for that, and it's the Kitchen Party and Sons of Mary that will be playing at the Common. And it was also talked about at that particular meeting that Cameron was going to put up a calendar so that all of the different groups with the Common, the History House, and the Folk Arts will be able to go in, so that there's nothing taking place at the same time that any of the various events, the main events, we're not competing with one another. And the other thing too is to have a calendar done up whereby residents can look at it and see what's happening at the different places around the community. Because I know last year there could be something happening at the History House and people didn't know about it, or down at the beach, so that they can look at any particular day, and depending on who you talk to, they knew or didn't know that different events were taking place. So I guess as different events come up, we need to let the residents know about it. So I think it's until the middle of May, and Cameron is hoping to get an update and that out to residents, let them know the fire department mentioned the other night that they have a tournament on the go sometime in July, and I'm not sure. A few people have asked me when the Pet Dog tournament is taking place, and maybe, Danny, that's something that's usually done through Scott and them down. They probably already have that. So if you could let us know or send out something to say that this is the date, let Cameron know anyway. This is the date for the Pet Dog tournament.
Yeah, I can double check that and then send
Yeah,
that.
they probably already got that, so that we're aware of that, because that's something that a lot of people are interested in. All right, thank
Okay.
you.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilor Upton first.
Thank you. Just a couple things I wanted to note here. I was having a look online at the links here. The community events that are showing up are the ones that we have normally at the Common. And I think, to the Deputy Mayor's point, there are community events that are being planned now that people are trying to plan, but if they don't know when something else is happening, then it rolls out. I mean, if we're saying August 10th, we've got our dance, then you've got the Shania Twain concert that's sold out 3 nights straight the next weekend. People are going to have only so much time, so much resources, especially in this economy, and they're going to want to figure out where and how they're planning it. So I think, looking at that, we were at the firefighters ball the other night, and I had a conversation with Captain John Callahan about the mental health run. And he said, yeah, but the same date that we're looking at doing this, the Jack Byrne has a run. So I spoke with Jen today, and I spoke with Rhonda at the event, and we are certainly, as a committee, going to have that conversation about how do we, make a recommendation to support that run. But I think that, back to the point of when and how, this is something that I think really needs to come in here. So when I looked at the content that we have online, it doesn't say when you can come see an iceberg. It doesn't say when to expect pack ice. It doesn't say when we might have whales. We know that in June you can expect to see a few whales maybe down there having a bite to eat. We know that in May we can expect to see icebergs if the season's right. But if we're talking about tourism, we're talking about people coming in here, we're talking about them being into what we're doing, then maybe the when part of it, because people plan their vacations, they plan their community events. And the other part of it, from a communication perspective, maybe people aren't thinking about coming to Torbay and hiking the trail. But if we have social media posts about what do you do on the weekend, did you know Father Troy's Trail this? And if you wanted to come, make sure you have. So I know myself and Councillor Amy Cody one time, a couple of years back, left Torbay Beach and we hiked over to Mill Cove in the middle of July. We were really excited, but we didn't realize that we'd need water because we didn't understand how long and how hot that was going to be that day. The other part of it was when we got over there, now we got to get back out of it. So, if you're hiking the East Coast Trail and you're used to it, you drive one car at the end and you leave your car at the other and you coordinate. But it's little things like that that may help enhance the ability for people to come, participate, plan, and take part of what we're really advertising here. So the when, the planning, how we put that together on a number of different levels, And I think for this community events page, we can have a link to the community events that we have at the Common, but I think there also needs to be a part here of the community events that are happening. So if Jack Byrne is having something, or if we do, and for us to coordinate with the other municipalities as well, because we don't want to be having a big concert the same night Flat
Yeah.
Rock or Pooch Cove or Ballin is, right?
Well, I
So
mean-
it's an important conversation to
I know,
work
but
through.
we only has a short summer with certain windows of opportunity to do things too. So obviously, there's gonna be some overlap with certain stuff. But I will say this, is that our communications that have been going out from the town for the last year on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever they're to, are excellent. I don't know if there's anybody that's more visible on those platforms than we are about our programs. And Cameron's doing an awesome job. And, you know, all these things are good. We just gotta give them time to do it, right?
Right, but the point that I'm making is not about the quality of the content. I agree, the quality of our content is amazing. What I'm asking for though, like when I was involved with the Jack Byrne Board and I was chair or vice chair, we actually made a coordinated approach at that time to ensure that we had a common calendar like the deputy mayor was speaking about, so that if we were planning an event, the best opportunity for success would be, well, if I know this run is happening this week and this one's that weekend, so they're not the same day and the same time, or
Right.
same day, different times,
But I think
right?
that's two different things.
Absolutely.
Our communications is one thing.
Yeah,
Cameron doesn't plan events and he takes what everybody gives him and he advertises it. So we need to make sure that we're talking about the right stuff. The calendar is excellent. I think that
Mayor, I think you're
I think
missing what
Carrie
I'm trying to
understands what it
say.
is that we want, but I mean, it's not our job to tell the staff how to do their job.
No, my understanding of my job right now is to ask a question and make a recommendation. And my recommendation, as a person who's trained and works in information technology and builds websites and knows how to do that, is saying the community events page as we have it right now only shows the events that we have at the Common, because I'm looking at it right now. I click the link and it's showing just that. What I'm asking is that the community events content be reviewed, because in here we can still have the community events and all the excellent stuff that's happening at the Common. It's a great link to have there. But there's also the conversation that the deputy mayor raised about community events being the party on your birthday, the different runs, the different events, the dart tournament, or the softball tournament firefighters
Yes.
talked about, the Pat Daw. So when people want to plan their summer and they want to make sure that they're here for the Sons of Mary concert for the time in Torbay, and then the time in Torbay, if you go to the community events, you can find that and go in there.
Okay,
So
I understand.
I'm asking for a broadening of what's available on.
I understand
page.
exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, that's
And
what
I'm
I'm.
sure as soon as the dates come available for when some of them things are, and they get booked, then we should be able to post it to both your.
Yeah,
points.
and I think if we could have a save the date piece here now, and a link that people can go back and visit as Cameron's able to update it and keep it populated, right? It'll help for better planning.
Okay.
And I gotta jump in here again, just because.
I think that we've
No,
talked enough
I
about
like
this now.
excuse me?
Seriously, like we bet that today.
This is the information that the public need
But
to
are we
have.
here
And
to-
I just, can
why
I
can't we
just
do
one
that
comment?
committee?
On June 10th, it's pub night at the Jack Byrne. That's something that, again, I just wanted to put it out there so that nothing else is going on the same time, that we're not competing with it. And you can never have enough of communication. And while I hear what you're saying about social media, we have to cater to the people that are not on social media as well. And I'm not giving up on that,
I
so.
understand that, but
I know.
we're gonna have a spring flyer that's gonna come out, or a summer.
I'm just letting
program.
everyone know that the deadline to get any information to Cameron is before the middle of May. If not, it will be going out without it.
Okay, well then, there's a notification for everybody.
So
Get
there
stuff
you
in
go.
before May. All right, Ralph?
I forgot to mention one important thing, and I want some clarity on this as well. I guess this is the time and place under this committee to bring this forward. But normally, before the committee was restructured, Noah had his own report for the history, and it was a detailed report. But that covered some of the things that the History House Advisory Committee, and I'm a council rep on that committee, what the work they do, right?
Okay.
So I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that we're trying to recruit some new members for that committee, and we do have one to. So I would like to, if I could, bring a motion forward.
Sure.
So as on a recommendation from the History House Advisory Committee, as council's rep to that committee, I would like to bring forward the name of Mr. Michael Byrne for a position on the History House Advisory Committee. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments?
Question.
Go ahead.
Has there been equal opportunity for anybody else in the community who wants to put their name forward? Did we advertise this position? Did
Yeah.
we provide opportunity? When did that happen? How was that process undertaken and initiated so that we can be clear? Because if someone comes to me and says, in a meeting, this motion came forward, I wanted to serve on that committee too, I didn't get the fair chance. I just want to make sure that we've brought it to the floor and we talk about how this selection criteria rolled out and what happened here. So could you provide that information, Councillor Tapper, please, for that, so the
Yes.
public would understand?
Yes, it was, again, through the History House Facebook page. They normally put that out there, and in Noah's reports as well. Because actually, we did have two names come forward after we really had to go headhunting, because nobody, no names came forward. So I approached former councillor, Mike Byrne, and he attended, and again, it was noted in the minutes of the last committee that Mike attended as an observer along with the other person who turned out couldn't, accept a nomination. So anyway, yes, it was made public. And there are still some positions open. So if you know or anybody else are welcome to put their name forward.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Thank you.
Great.
Appreciate
Yeah.
that.
All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, hang on, number 2. Lost my space. Infrastructure and Public Works, Councillor Epton.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, let me pull this up. All right, the Infrastructure and Public Works Committee met on Wednesday, April 10th at 8:15 a.m. Participating were myself, Councillor Ward Goss, and our director, Brian Winter. The items that we discussed are in the package, so I'm not going to go into detail on all of them. I will touch on the response that we have for the sidewalk construction conversation and the inability to have parking on the side of Torbay Road coming down there by the Post Tap House. That there's a link there to the letter that we received back advising that from Honorable Minister John Abbott that that's a safety concern and that that's not something that we can do. So just wanted to touch on that. Let me come back up here. I lost my place. I clicked on it and then it jumped on me. So under the pump house analysis project, Stantec has been awarded the contract. So the meeting was set for April 18th to kick off that project. Under the fuel system upgrade project, we've received 3 prices for the project. And those are submitted here. So I do have a motion, and the motion reads, motion to award the supply and installation of a new fuel supply system to Petro Service Limited for the amount of $25,733, HST included. This is a budget item for 2024. So moved.
Second.
So it's moved and seconded. Is there any comment,
Question
questions?
on the comment that's there regarding negative feedback. Are we exposing ourselves to any action or any kickback on this, any pushback from National Energy based on the negative feedback? What does that actually mean, and what is it moved from, and was it in writing and things of that nature? Or is it just hearsay?
No, it's, so they provided, all three bidders provided references, I guess, and we reached out to the references. And as you can see in the notes there, we're currently using the National Energy One product, and it's not working the way we want it to work. And the other program seems to be working, be a lot better programs. So that's the reason we're looking at going with that one, like saying that the cost difference is very minimal. And within the documents, we're not required to award to the lowest anyway.
We're not, no, but because we say we're not, doesn't mean we can choose the higher one without cost. That's one of the things that are there.
The cost is listed there.
Yeah, okay, as long as we get that done.
Yeah. Yep.
And then there's you know, kind of bulletproof type thing. That's all I'm saying, we have documentation to show that we have negative feedback is this and this from here, from this source, and we have our documentation around that. I know $548 is neither here nor there, but it's not $548, it's potential for $25,185.
Yes, we've got that information.
Okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Thank you. So continuing with the report, just head down to the next motion. I will, before I go to the next motion, actually touch on speed calming. The director did provide committee with the draft for the speed calming review, and we had a look at that and said thank you. So committee was pleased with that, and we've asked that the director share it out with council so council can review. And our intention is to bring the speed calming update to the next meeting based on feedback from council. So we would ask that everyone have a look and a review, and if there's any concerns or questions, please let us know. But my understanding of the work that was done with that was that we had taken the Harborside, comprehensive study that we had, looked at that, did the analysis based on what it's been to use to simplify it. And I got to say, when I read it, I thought it was really good work. So we've shared it. I just want to make sure the council does know the intention is to bring that motion forward at the next meeting. So with that, I have one more motion, Mayor, to bring forward, and it's around the town office lower level renovation. So during the budget, council took a decision around positions that we would fund and hire, and then we've adopted a new org structure since then. So we understood and learned at the committee meeting that, of course, to accommodate the staff and to make the building work, there would need to be some renovations that would be, would present a better opportunity for the public coming in to engage and have appropriate spaces to talk about planning and their business and whatnot. So there was a look at what the cost may be, and the motion that I'll bring forward is a motion to award the contract to complete both renovation areas in the lower level of the TO 4471WN office? Okay, that's a typo. I didn't know if that was official or not. It's in there. Can we get that fixed, please? I didn't see that when I read it, so sorry about that. The town office to SEA Contracting in the amount of $12,057.50, HST included. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? All in favor?
Question
Go ahead.
on where the money is coming from for this.
Well, I think I'll take that one on.
Oh, okay.
You can stand down, Director. In all honesty and fairness, we're talking about $12,057.50. And I said in the committee meeting, and I'll say it here in a public chamber, in the last budget discussions we've had, the last couple, there's been hundreds of thousands of dollars of carry forward that this municipality has had at the end to bring forward. And And we've done that, it's been public, we've talked about it here. And $12,000 in a $16 million operating budget that we have
18,
here?
yeah.
It's a significant operating budget. So if we're gonna be talking about human values, if we're gonna be talking about excited people to come to work, and for people to walk into this community building and do their planning business and talk about their permits and their homes and what they want to develop, we really need to make sure that we've got appropriate spaces for people to come in here, have those conversations in a confidential, quiet place, for our staff to come in and have a comfortable place to go to work, and ensure that we're attracting and retaining nothing but the best employees here to serve the people of our community. So I think that our amazing Department of Finance can have a look at and have a conversation with all of our departments and directors to figure out where we find that $12,000. And I fully support bringing this forward and asking the staff to take a look at where that comes back from. But if we're going to be walking the talk of wellness and inclusion and making sure that people feel they're part of this community, then I think this is a motion that we need to have a conversation about, bring forward, and then work through it. So those are my thoughts on it. Director, if you'd like to speak, you're more than welcome to. But that's my position as a counselor.
Sure, I can answer it a little quicker now.
Yeah, which
We do have a GL that we're going to pull it from. There was some work that was going to be done in the lower level anyway. That was up around the $8,000 mark. That was allotted for last year in the maintenance budget. So we're going to pull it from that area.
Okay, I got it.
Sorry, last year?
This year's budget, sorry.
All right.
Last year's budget.
Okay.
Yeah, my concern is a couple of fold here. Number one is that we've always had a habit of asking questions where money's coming from for a certain expenditure. This was obviously an unbudgeted expenditure. So the question I think is valid, and I have no problem with the response. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page with what we bring forward. What we bring forward from one year to the next is also recognized at budget time. So we make a conscious effort to bring forward X number of dollars to balance our budget or not balance our budget. Any variance from expenses or revenues within that period are also subject to discussion at council once we approve a budget at the end of the year. Doesn't mean that the money is there and free to take from somewhere else without some discussion on it. We also just spent a couple of $1 million on office renovations over the past year or so. And so how can we say that we don't have comfortable surroundings or anything of that nature for staff and whatever? So it's 6 1/2 dozen other, I guess, in terms of adding another $12,000 onto our already $1 million or $1 million office renovation that we just did. But I just want to know where it's coming from myself. Because if we overspend the maintenance budget for the year, then we're 3 months in now, whatever, and hopefully we got enough money to cover off.
All right, thank you. Any other comment?
I just want to put in here, and while I hear the logic for going forward, but before this past couple of years probably, any time that there's been any amount, and I've seen very heavy discussion here over a couple of $1,000s one way or another. I just assumed, right or wrong, where we had $100,000 for renovation to the town hall, that's where that was coming from. I assumed that, and I guess I shouldn't assume anything. But anytime any motion that comes forward like this, we need to make sure that we identify, and we've been doing this all along, what GL that it's going to come from. And to do it now without having that and say we'll find it somewhere, that's not acceptable, because when we get into September, later on, when the budgets get tighter, we'll be wondering where it's going to come from. So I'm glad that, Brian, that you've identified where it's coming from, and that comes out of that GL, because over the last few years, it was really important to get away from doing business this way and identifying it right up front. So I'm glad, like I said, I shouldn't assume anything, but I did. So, and I guess on a go forward, because I got it wrote down here that it's a policy and it would be precedent setting, that if we are going to move funds, that department has to identify where the funds are coming from.
And in fairness, Brian and I did discuss that. He
Yeah.
did bring it to my attention.
Yeah, so it needs to be.
We had that discussion.
It needs to be put in here so that it's reflected where it's coming from.
All right.
Okay.
Call a question.
Mayor, does it not come back to me before we call the
You
question?
introduced the motion.
Yeah, I brought
Then
it
you
forward.
s-
Do I not get last points, Mayor? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Call a question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Continue. You finished?
Not yet.
Okay.
So that's the extent of the things that I will read out. If anyone has any questions, or if Councillor Goss has anything that he'd like to bring up, please feel free to do so now.
I'm good, thank you.
You're good? Sorry,
I
yeah,
have-
Director, did I miss something?
Check your email.
I need to check my email, Mayor, hold on. That's okay. I'm having that kind of a night, I'm stumbling on the words and, oh, thank you, Director, you're amazing. If I could just mention that we do have a quick update here, Mayor. The
Okay.
precautionary boil order, boil water order is still ongoing, and we're working with the government department to have it removed. So please keep an eye to our website and communications for updates on that. And thank you to people for understanding as we're working through it. So thank you.
All right.
If there aren't any questions, that ends my report.
Thank you.
I got questions.
Sorry,
Okay, go ahead.
I have one.
Go ahead, Tony.
Thank you. Just on the letter from Mr. Rabbit. It my first time I saw it, and as a matter of fact, a resident had read the council package prior to me looking at the council package. I'm kind of caught off guard by a conversation I had in relation to what taking over the road. So I got dragged down a pigeonhole, I guess, in terms of listening and not really having seen the letter or in the package to actually be able to respond to it. Just, can we ensure that correspondence comes through a reading file or something on those lines so that we can have access to these before they show up directly in the package?
Yeah, sorry, Tony, that's on me. I should have distributed that to all the council when I got it back. It came back to myself and Brian and Sandy, and normally I would forward that on to council. I just forgot.
As like that part about purchasing or transfer of Corby Road to the town of Corby.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's what I thought.
I kind of ignored that little nugget. Deputy Mayor?
A couple of questions. What's the plan here? It's the recycling education, and I know that we ended up getting $7,000, maybe $9,000 from MSB for recycling education, and it said it'll be ready to go out in April and early May. Like, what's the plans? Are we doing a blitz at the schools, not school, and what's happening?
Yeah. So there's a couple parts to it. The communications coordinator, I guess his title is working on that with myself. And we've got some educational pamphlets going out, and that's what we're talking about there. We've also got some educational magnets going out so people can stick them on their fridge and that type of thing. We're installing some new signs around town, and we are going to be engaging, we're not sure which grade it is yet, but to develop a poster for the town. So we're going to bring it
So are we
into the schools.
having the campaign, I guess with that kind of money, are we going to go to all the schools? Because that's where the education needs to,
Yeah, so that's
Take
part,
place.
that's part of the poster, like there's gonna be a poster contest, and then
At
we're
each
going
of
to
the
go
schools? because I mean, the high
I'll
school,
look
when
at
you're
the,
talking about recycling,
yeah.
it's, and there's a lot of information that's online about how,
That's
to
a
look
fair
at
point,
doing
Deputy
that, right?
Mayor.
Yeah.
But I think as well, getting into the schools and getting, the time to roll that out is something that maybe we can ask staff to go back, have a look at, and then provide an update to
Yeah.
us after.
well, don't forget that a
Because-
few years ago, Paula Lancaster had a team that and then COVID hit, about going out and doing different things at the school, because I guess if we talk about doing things and make sure that we're doing it right, that's one thing. And then the other one that I wanted to talk about was the dates for the spring cleanup. It's fine to say that it's the 23rd and the 25th, but what are we doing for the neighborhood cleanup? Now, I've talked about that because there's a little bit of a going on, I guess, with economic development, and Cameron is there in that group as well.
Yep.
And just to bring it forward, to say, like, the importance, again, we've got money this year, and about having a barbecue, and about getting the schools and the various volunteer groups. Because in the past, when I bring this up, it was always seemed to be at the last minute, and then the response was, well, Mary, we don't have anybody to coordinate that and get the information out there. So now we got Cameron to
Yeah,
kind of
so we've always
take a
coordinated
lead
that,
on
we've
that,
always
right?
had the cleanup, we've always had, I've been in the Public Works Department for 4 years now, and every year we've had a cleanup. Every
We have
year
cleanup,
We've
but
had
it
a barbecue,
doesn't-
we've done all those things, so.
Yes, because
So
the
we are in
barbecue
conversation
comes
with-
down to the last minute and trying to get it done, because I've been the one involved in it.
I'm not sure it's last minute.
I
It's-
know,
It's
but
something
anyway.
everybody's got planned out. Anyway,
Could be one
I'm
person.
just saying,
talking.
yeah.
there is a path to come down with all that information, and we're
Okay.
working closely with the communications coordinator on
Yes,
that as well.
because if we could have some prizes or have something like years ago, because I guess for me, to hear that Flat Rock is able to get 100 volunteers out to pick up garbage on that weekend, like there has to be some planning put into it. Where are the areas that need to have the garbage picked up, like around the schools? Well, you know from
Yeah.
in the
Oh, definitely.
past. And it'd be good to get that coordinated and to get it out and get the schools and whoever, the various, well, I know that Lions Club was the big one that get involved in it, and to try to get that, and where the bags are available, and, well, you know,
Yeah.
the whole.
All that's going on. We've
Yeah.
already had a conversation with a resident in the Forest Landing area as well. They're looking at doing a complete cleanup in that
Yeah.
full neighborhood. So that might be something we can encourage other developments to do, same thing. I've also had a conversation with communications coordinator on the we'll reach out to the high school, because there is a requirement to graduate, you need so many volunteer hours. And every year, there's so many kids that don't have that number. So that's something we can encourage them to get out and do that as well, so.
Yeah.
We're working on all those things.
And what's the status of the mini splits for the History House? I know that they're in there and we have funding in that for it, but is that something that we've gone out and we know? Because before you know it, I guess we'll be talking about how hot it is up there. And I know, because I noticed today that the garage up there is being demolished. And I'm assuming that Public Works is looking after that?
Most definitely. So that's on
Okay.
our list of 20-something projects that we're working on and working towards.
Yeah, because
And you-
that's.
And you will see every week there'll be a few being knocked
Yeah.
off.
But is that, I just wondering if the mini splits are being in the process, are they in the
We're in
process of
conversation
being,
with, we're in conversation with the.
trying to get that?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm not sure who the Picos Ridge falls under to have the opening, because we touched about that in our meeting, and I guess when that was put up there, it didn't really fall under the museum, so
Should fall under economic development.
economic development,
Economic
the-
development.
yeah, I know, but,
The
so.
Economic development carried that project right through to fruition.
Yeah.
So economic development is this committee, so it would make sense to me that economic development continues to do the work on that. That was work that I led until it changed. So I think that that's appropriate. I do want to note, though, that the items that we were talking about, some of those are operational items, and I'm very confident that the director and directors are working in tandem to ensure that the staff are looking after it. So thank you for the recommendations. I just want to note that those specific things, if there's anything about operations.
I'm well
our
aware of that,
CAO
but
Okay,
we
all
just
right.
want to make sure that the mini splits and everything are put in because of the issue up there with the dampness. And when I just see them on the list, so I have every right to ask the question for an update on
Okay,
it.
all right.
Okay,
We're done.
we're done.
Moving on now.
Okay,
All right, never mind. I was gonna say, I'm gonna continue. Recreation and Community Services.
There's just, we haven't had a chance to have a meeting. Councillor Manning reached out to me this evening to say that she wouldn't be able to attend. So
Okay.
just a note to let you know that I had a conversation with Councillor Manning about the mental health run this weekend, which is one of the items that we talked about and wanted to support. But when our director is back now, we'll get back on a schedule with with our regular business. And if I could, I'd like to thank Danny for stepping in tonight and being here for us as well. So appreciate that. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. All right, so before we go to the liaison committees, I just want to introduce one of our newest employees. Holly Walters is sitting here next to Ann. She's getting a little bit of on-the-job training for us, backward, I guess, to dealing with the council meeting. Hopefully every meeting is not like this one. But she's our new accounts receivable assessment and procurement administrator. That's a mouthful. We should narrow that down. Holly, thank you for choosing to come work at the town of Torbay, and welcome. All right. Liaison committees. So Tony wasn't feeling good tonight before we started this meeting.
Who's Tony?
So I was off, I'm off.
Oh,
Yeah, Atlantic Mayor's Congress, no update. We're gonna be meeting in July, isn't it?
that's the PE.
June,
Yeah,
in Summerside.
yeah, late June.
Intergovernmental affairs, I guess most of our updates from there come actually out of the Public Works Committee, so I did receive a correspondence back from the minister on our request about the road. It was, I apologize to the rest of the council, I didn't forward it on to you, but it is in the Public Works Committee in the package there. Jack Byrne Regional.
Nothing else to report yet, Your Worship, we're still working on the CRA issue, so once that gets clarified, we'll come back to council.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Oh, never mind. I was gonna mention something, but I already talked to you about it. Northeast Avalanche Joint Council, Deputy Mayor.
We had our meeting last Wednesday night, and the package is attached in there. One of the things that we did talk about, and I said I was going to bring it forward, was in CBS, they actually have somebody come in and give training on how to use the ATVs and what have you. And there's been a great take-up, so I got the name of the person to bring that forward for us to potentially look at something like that here. I guess the other thing with that, and you're going to get into it as you go down to the RNC, but that's, I guess, with regards to having the meeting, because that was something that, I think it's a former RNC officer that actually gives the training on that, isn't that right, Councillor Tapper? I think that's what, guy knows, somebody knows, Bertie. But anyway, I got the particulars and that on it, and having the joint meeting about that, because some towns are looking at, as a pilot, to extend the duration that those individuals on ATVs can go in order to get on trails. So there's a lot of different work that's taken place with other towns. But I got 2 pages of notes on it, rather than meant to bring them along tonight, but it's a good meeting.
Okay.
Mayor, could you and Deputy Mayor maybe connect on that conversation around the trails for ATVs? Because I know that's been a conversation at the UMC as well. I remember participating in those meetings where other communities talked about how they've set up the trails, and I think that's really important. If the conversation's happening in Northeast Avalon Joint Council, which is great to hear, it's also something that's been happening at the UMC table, so it'd be nice to see you guys connect and figure out how the lessons learned could be rolled out there. I know we hear a lot from residents about concerns of ATVs and, protected wetlands and those sorts of things. So I think maybe connecting on that might be helpful.
Yep, no, great.
Thank you.
No problem, I can do that. To that point, RNC. The contact that I have.
You wanna get some
RNC, I just found out is Andrew Warren.
Yeah, you can get me that, and I'll get that.
I'll forward you an email.
Yeah, forward that to
Sorry.
me, and I'll get a hold of them right away.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and
we
then-
haven't got a date or anything on that yet?
No. I haven't been, listen, I was, I couldn't find the email, I just found it on my iPad, because I it wouldn't come up on my phone.
Okay, forward it to me and
I'll forward it to
I'll
you.
get on that, yeah, right away.
What is
Uh,
it about?
Torbay Volunteer Fire Department.
RNC.
But
just-
what is it to do with the RNC?
Just to
I
look
don't
at
understand.
getting some statistics off them, and probably setting up a meeting with council and maybe some residents to talk about the changes to the Highway Traffic Act as it relates to ATVs and dirt bikes and stuff like that. And what exactly are the stats that are in our town now, in our area, since they expanded the traffic unit from 2 cars to 4, and see if there's any difference over the last couple of years, and what their plans are for the summer, that type of thing coming up.
Thank you.
Urban Municipalities Committee, we actually met last weekend in Pasadena, and I'm gonna get Councilor Tapper to give us an update.
How long will it take?
For as long as you want.
No, it was my first provincial meeting in a number of years. Not too much has changed over the years, same topics, but it was still as interesting, you know, with what's happening in other municipalities. Got us, well, two words on the chair, our mayor. I think Craig does a great job in that chair, and he has a lot of respect among the room from the municipalities that are represented. So I congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
And,
I'll represent that.
and our host from Pasadena did a great job as well. And our CAO was there, and of course our mayor. But all through the day, we were well looked after. Into the nights and into the evenings we were as well. But I think the agenda covered a lot of aspects of what's happening now on the federal and provincial scenes with housing and, you know, different issues like that. So I did enjoy it, and you know, you learn, obviously, you learn a lot at these meetings, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and I think to your point, one of the things that we learn is that, you know, luckily for us, we haven't been in a position yet where the town had to go out and try and recruit family doctors or build a medical clinic to be able to recruit family doctors, which is exactly what Pasadena has done. They bought an old church. They, by stroke of luck, the mayor knew somebody whose daughter was becoming a doctor, and he called her up, and just at that time, her partner is also a doctor and finishes his residency in Quarterbrook, I think. So they managed to purchase the building, they built the clinic, they recruited 2 young doctors to come into their town, and it's gonna be a big game changer for them going forward as they have a huge development plan that they're doing. They're undergoing a plan review similar to what we're doing, and they're looking at diversified housing, how they're gonna bring new people into Pasadena, and they're doing a great job out there. And I think that, to Councilor Tapper's point, the value to being able to go to these meetings and talk to the staff people there and the councilors and the residents, because we did get a chance to talk to a lot of the firefighters and to see what it is that they're doing, what good things they can do that we can learn from and that we can try and replicate. Luckily, we don't have to try and replicate building a medical clinic or recruiting doctors, but you know what? You never know where you're gonna be when the time comes. And it's nice to have those contacts, people that you can reach out to say, how did you do that? And give us that information. So, no, it was a good meeting, and I thank Pasadena for hosting us. And I'm looking forward to the next one, summer, and I don't know where it's gonna be yet, but we'll figure it out. Thank you. Where am I to? We got no notice of motion. New business, Councilor Tepper.
Let me see, what do I have here? Yes, I want to mention the firefighters, 2 events last week. Professional job, both of them. And well, you know, people turned out, and it was, you know, you really got to be impressed with the way they organize both of those events. And of course, the work they do as well. And I don't think, if anybody had to call upon the fire department, as I have on a few occasions, it is amazing that they show up on your doorstep, no more than 5 minutes after, I'm sure. And, you know, the training that they do have, it's a great organization. And over the years, and I'm sure you did this as well, Mayor, anytime they do present their budget, they usually I say, they got what they want, because they deserve the money they need, and the equipment and the training and everything else is well worth it now. So, and it was obvious, you know, at these events, right? A great history, and it was a great 50th celebration.
Agreed. Thank you. Councillor Appleby.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to join Councillor Tapper in congratulating the fire department on 50 years of impeccable service to the communities of the town of Torbay and Flat Rock. And we just heard them out there. One of the firefighters was just on the roof during the meeting as I was watching them there. They're moving the ladder as we speak. Their service is impeccable, and I believe that it was 6 minutes, Councillor Tapper, that the previous fire chief had for us when he would bring the statistics of from the time that call came in to the time they were on the doorstep is an average of 6 minutes, the response time. That's incredible for a volunteer fire department. So congratulations to them. Thank you for their service. It is impeccable what they do, and there's no back doors about it. I wanted also to thank the RNC. The RNC made a post on social media within the last week or so around a speeding event that happened in the town of Torbay. It was shared widely. But it's really important that people know and understand that the RNC are in our community. They are out there, and speeding is an issue. Safety, pedestrian safety. I had a call today. There was a PL day at school. My son wanted to go out and hang out with his friends. He didn't get up the road, and someone called and said, "Your youngster's out here." I know where my kid is because he told me. But you know what? Our kids are out now. The spring is coming. The weather is coming. You know, we want to make sure that our community is safe. So thank you to the RNC for sharing that, making sure that people understand they're in our community. They are serious about keeping us safe, and let's look after that. And the last thing I wanted to mention was just that the Killicoast Games registration is open. And I added it to the go-around just because we weren't doing the update tonight, and I didn't think to do it there. But the deadline to register, I believe, is the 3rd of May. So there's still another couple of weeks. This is always a fabulous event. It is absolutely amazing to see all of our communities come together, you know, our youth with their town colors on, showing up, playing for their community with that pride, and then the interaction. It's just spectacular. So recommend that. You know, families talk to your children. What games do you want to play? Set it in your calendar. Make it happen. It's really worth it. So thank you for the opportunity to share that tonight.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Mayor, hang on now. Councillor Gahas.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, just to go with the common theme, I just wanted to express my gratitude and thanks and congratulations to our fire chief and the committee for organizing such great events. And it's the second in 50 years. It's something to be very proud of, and to have that kind of establishment in terms of volunteer fire department in our community is something to be very, very, very proud of. I just want to pass along my thanks.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Mayor?
I'd just like to, I guess it's last week, that a program coordinator, Scott Merton, and just wanted to congratulate Scott on his new position. LMO is very lucky to have him joining their team, and to thank him for his contribution to everything that he's done over the past several years while working for the town of Torbay. Had a couple of people mention to me Saturday night how they're going to miss him because of the different interactions that he's had with them when he go down and when they go down to the common. That's that. I want to say congratulations to the Torbay Volunteer Fire Department on their 50th anniversary. I had to say Saturday night just blew me away when I went in and saw how the gym was literally transformed. And that's one of the reasons when we were out trying to get that building built, was to have functions like that there and to see the chairs and everything. I mean, I saw Danny walking through there, but it was literally transformed with the way that it was done. It was like nothing that we have seen there, for me to have seen there. I guess it was just there was nothing, but I mean, it was literally top notch. I also want to say congratulations to Kent Abbott, who received the Firefighter of the Year. And I know that that's no small thing when they come to elect the Firefighter of the Year, but I think it's very deserving. And to congratulate him, and also see the number of the original firefighters that were there, and just to see them all grouped together in the big picture, it was, yeah, it was heartwarming to see that, and to think that they're around that long, and to see those original people, and when they saw one another, the enthusiasm that it was when they saw each other. So it was, yeah.
All right, I
Anyway,
just want to
thanks.
say, pass along my congratulations also to the fire department. Thank them for allowing me to speak the other night. And,
Great job.
I spent about 5 years, I guess, as liaison to the fire department when you were mayor, and probably my first year or two when I was mayor. And you certainly get an appreciation for the hard work that they put in, and how conscientious they are, and their dedication to the community and what it is they do, second to none. They're awesome fire department, and I meant every word I said about them the other night.
Yeah.
They are
That was a
excellent.
really great thing.
And Cameron never did it for me either.
Oh.
I did it.
I was really impressed that he had it rolled up, right?
I mentioned to Mary that there's not too many events or whatever it is that I do that I actually write down what I'm going to say. There's 3 really, as the firefighters ball, the Remembrance Day ceremony, and Canada Day, because the 3 of them are so important to me. I don't want to screw it up. I don't want to forget anything. So it's a pleasure for me and an honor to be able to do that. I want to say thank you to our staff. And I know that, you guys, you work hard. Our winter staff, our heavy equipment operators will soon be done now for winter. They are done, right? They're, yeah. And thank you to them. And to our summer staff will soon be coming on to work with the programs, and I welcome them. It's not easy working in a municipality, not just this one, but any of them. You just talk to people that do it. And I thank you for the hard work that you do. And council, thank you for raising my blood pressure tonight and making me almost get excited. I was hoping I was going to have an easy night, but I guess it is what it is. I love your passion. And it drives me crazy sometimes, but I thank you for the work that you put in. And it takes the work that we do around here, plus working with our staff, to be able to move things forward. And I'm just happy to be part of the team, I guess. Anyway, I do have a question that came in from resident. I'm quickly going to answer it. And it came from Frank Murphy in Forest Landing, asking for an update on the trail between Forest Landing and the bypass road. It's been ongoing for over a year. You expect progress on the trail this spring. I saw in the Public Works package that there was an update there, that it's currently with legal, and hopefully we're going to get some response by April 15th, which I believe is today. So hopefully, Frank, we'll have an update on that in the near future, where we are with that. and we didn't get anything else that came in since then. So with that, I would say that our next public council meeting is scheduled to take place Monday, April 29th, 2024, 6:30 PM right here in the council chambers in the town of Torbay, and I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Moved
Second.
and seconded, all in favor, aye. Opposed, carried. Thank you very much.